The Hunger Games movie, it dominated in one arena over the weekend. That was the box office arena. It's now the #3 biggest box office opening of all time. Chris Farley has been watching this. He's right here beside us to parse through it. You saw an early version of the movie.
Yes. And it did even better than people expected, because it did well with critics, first of all. If you look on Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 85+% rating from critics, so that's big. And then it really scored with the public as well, with a $155 million opening, the third biggest opening of all time, a big opening for a non-sequel, and much bigger than people were even expecting, say, a few weeks and months ago.
And only surpassed by the final Harry Potter movie,
right,
and then the Dark Knight, the Batman film.
Right. These are sequel films, so this is a franchise that has room to grow, because now they've got the idea of what's going on out there. People are conditioned to go see it. It may be that this grows, and also they got a lot of men to go see it. That's something the Twilight films failed to do. It was a smaller percentage, about 20% of the audience for some of those films was men. Here it was almost double that. So that really means more of a blockbuster, more blockbuster numbers when you manage to attract both genders.
They're very careful in the marketing of this movie, which of course takes sort of place in a futuristic world where kids are required to go into an arena kind of like Survivor meets American Idol and basically fight it out to the death.
Yes.
I mean, it is a violent movie. It is still PG-13. But do you think that the fact that the love story, which there is one, wasn't played up as much in the trailers, do you think that helped draw men into the theater, Chris?
Well, I think what really helped is by not showing all the action sequences. They made a strategic decision to not show the actual Hunger Games in the commercials, so you went in there expecting something. I mean, so many movies today show you everything. By the time you see the movie, you're like, I've seen enough. Right. I've seen everything from the beginning to the end. Here, there was something you hadn't seen. You had to go to the movie to see it. I remember back in the day they did that for the movie Alien, where you didn't see the alien, what the alien was going to look like until you actually saw the movie. Right. And so it drew people in because there was curiosity. There was still a lot of curiosity for the Hunger Games. What was it going to look like? And clearly, with a $155 million box office gross, a lot of people wanted to find out.
Do you think going into the next weekend, do you think that the Hunger Games will continue to dominate in the box office, or do you expect we could see a sharp fall off and someone will push that movie aside?
I don't think we'll see a sharp fall off with it. We didn't see a sharp fall off really from Friday to Saturday, and that's because it wasn't just powered by teens who tend to see it really early and then move on to other things, Xbox, whatever else. We saw a lot of older adults, mature adults going to see this film. They tend to have more of a lasting interest over time. Plus, when the reviews are that good, that tends to help power a movie over time. So we're not going to see a huge drop off with the Hunger Games. This is something that's going to be with us for a while, and a franchise that may be with us for a while as well.
I mean, it's interesting to see because obviously the book's so well read. This trilogy by Suzanne Collins. We have 2 more, we believe, that are coming.
It might be 3.
Maybe 3 more. They'll split it apart the last one like they did Harry Potter. I mean, milk it for all it's worth. Is this really the new model? I mean, to find these sort of crossover hit books, rely on the book's success to then drive the movie. So again, you don't have to spend. They didn't even spend that much on the Hunger Games.
Yeah, it is a model. It doesn't always work. Look at The Golden Compass, a big children's book by Philip Pullman, hugely popular, especially in England and abroad, but that franchise totally failed with Nicole Kidman. Look what happened with John Carter of Mars, of course shortened to John Carter.
Right.
They didn't know how to sell that book. They didn't know how to sell that movie.
They spent a ton on it.
They spent over $200 million on it reportedly, and that failed. So it's hard to launch a franchise. It takes hard work. It takes a lot of smart marketing. They managed to do it with the Hunger Games, but it doesn't always work.
That's a good point. Only 70 to 80 million, I think, spent on the Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games, yes. They kept the budget fairly low.
All right, Chris Farley, thanks for analyzing for that. In 2 pieces. You're so nimble. We love you for that.
Anytime.
All right. When we come back, we're going to tell you about white-collar criminals. They're getting ready to go to jail, but how do they learn to deal with issues like Bubba and the fork